Thank you, everybody. Can everybody hear me well? Okay, I'm here to tell you about myself and about a project I'm doing, which is called Hello Fashion. And I think if I go back to the start of the day, I'm going to show a lot of ego because I'm going to only tell about myself and about my work. And well, I hope it's interesting for you. And I think indeed I am a very critical fashion designer, but I also love my job, and I hope I can show that in my story. To start, this is not working. Waar moet ik hem op richten?
Can we have next slide, please? They're working with many people very hard. It will go. 6 of them.
In the meantime, I can get used to being on this stage. Because I'm a bit nervous. Huh? I'm not worried.
Where do you live?
I live in Rotterdam. I can continue speaking. My name is Monique van Heist, and I work and I live in Rotterdam, and I run a fashion brand called Monique van Heist, and it consists of women's wear and unisex garments, but also accessories, and we are now working on developing more interior products. And to go back to the past, when I was, I think, about 8 years old, I already had an interest in fashion, although I didn't really know what fashion was, because I was just learning to sew garments, first for my dolls, and later when I was a bit older. Oh, wait. This is me. So at a young age, I was behind the sewing machine, and I made, in fact, garments for my mother because she couldn't sew. So I didn't really get this talent from her. And I didn't really realize that fashion was a job. I just thought it's really fun to make clothes, and I wanted to be an air hostess, which is something completely different. And so throughout my childhood, I just made garments for myself, for my sister, for my friends. And then I went to high school, and then I realized, okay, maybe I should go to art school and develop this a little more. So I went to art school and I studied fashion, and I still really didn't know what fashion was about. The only thing I knew is that I once wanted to start my own brand and work for myself. But then I graduated and I thought, okay, I'm going to make it. But I didn't know what to do because I thought I'm going to be a star, but how am I going to do this? And actually my only worry was, how am I ever going to be in a fashion magazine? And at the moment it's like one of my smallest issues because it's not so difficult to get into a fashion magazine. So in 2004, after art school and after doing a master degree at the Fashion Institute Arnhem, I started my brand, and I really tried to adapt to the fashion system because I thought, okay, being a fashion designer means giving shows, doing collections every half a year, and being in the system, because that was actually the only way for me to start. But after a few years, after doing collections every season, after giving shows, I really started to get tired because I was working all the time. And I thought, why am I making so many designs, show them, sell them for half a year, and then they're gone? I thought it was really crazy because if you compare it to, for example, product design, in product design, a design gets made. Maybe this, I don't know if we can call this product design, but it's a tool and it gets designed and then it's starting to be used, but it's not going to be thrown away because it's a design and it's made. And I really started to become frustrated because I thought, why is this going on in fashion? Because if you look at yourself and at your own wardrobe, you don't really feel the need to change it every half a year. But somehow fashion tells us to change all the time, and it's really exhausting. And so I really got into a big conflict with myself because I thought, okay, either I'm going to stop this and I'm just going to do something else, or I'm going to have to develop a system for myself that I can adapt to and that suits me. So I came up with the plan called Hello Fashion. And I think in 2008 I started thinking about this project because I thought, wouldn't it be so cool to make a collection that's only getting bigger? And everything you design will stay in the collection. And everybody I told about this, a lot of people I told about this plan, they were really like, oh, you're crazy, it's never going to work. You can't go against fashion like this because that's just not the way it works. But I was quite stubborn and I thought, no, I am going to do it because it suits me. And I think it's a really a new vision in fashion because there's so many fashion brands and there's so many changes. And why? Why do we have to buy a lot of new garments all the time? And why not preserve the things we have? So I launched Hello Fashion 2 years ago in May 2009. And I'm sorry. I developed a system for myself to document everything I do and to give it names. So there is a catalog that goes with Hello Fashion. And now there is 73 items in the collection. And each garment gets photographed as a garment. This is an example of a series of T-shirts. So there is a short T-shirt, a mid-length T-shirt and a long T-shirt. And I document it as a garment and try to give it a really autonomous look. So it's not fashion, it's the garment. On the other hand, I photograph all the garments on, I call it normal people, because I think it's also very strange that we look in fashion magazines and we see a very skinny model, maybe 16 years old, wearing a garment I should be buying. So I can't really refer to that because I think my customer is you and everybody on the street. And maybe also the skinny model in the magazine, but also everybody in here. So I always think it's very strange that in fashion photography there's a big gap between the girl wearing it, or the man could also be, and the person who's buying it. So I really tried to develop also in the way I photograph everything, my own system, so it gets really personal. And I have a few slides of my work. This is a shirt, and it's made in a series of shirts that are enlarged into a different grid. So you have shirt number 0, which is a normal shirt, and I applied a grid to the shirts. And this is the biggest one, shirt number 10. And you can see that the whole balance of the shirt is different. And I actually try to ignore pattern making in this design. This is one of my unisex items. It's called play suit, and you can wear it as a t-shirt or also as like a really tiny overall or something. This is a very big silk bag, and it belongs in a series of... No, this is not in there, but it will come later. I'll go back. And it's actually just a very simple square, and the funny thing about it is that when you look at it, it looks really fragile, but it's in fact a very solid bag. And this is a dress called the twister dress, and you can wear it on both sides, so you can wear it with a high on the front or low on the front. And this is one of my pieces of jewelry. It's called Faith, Hope, Love. And in my jewelry, the first two slides I showed, the first one was a safety pin with an hello cap, and the other one is a series of necklaces with the alphabet, so you can choose your own letter to wear. This is also a jersey overall. And this is the dress that belongs to the series with the bag. So this is actually the same shape, but you can wear it as a dress. And in the way I design, I also try to figure out how classic can I work and how simple can my designs be without being fashionable, because I don't want to be fashionable. I just want to make really good garments that can survive time and that can, stay in your wardrobe for as long as possible. This is actually the jacket I'm wearing. And this is another shirt in the series of the shirts that are graded with the grid, but then without sleeves. And this is a girl wearing the shirt. And this is a very nice shop owner from Amsterdam wearing one of my winter coats. And in the catalog, there's always the photograph of the person wearing one of my garments. And on the back of the leaf, you can always read about this person, about what his job is, what his interests are. And we also do that to make the story much more personal. And this is an overall which has a really big bag on the front. And in the bag you can put whatever you like. So it's actually a garment and a bag at the same time. And this is one of my newer garments, which is a trench coat, also for men and women. And here you can see the more autonomous picture of the coat. And this is a project I did with a French flower maker, because I wanted to create a piece of jewelry that looks very precious, but is in fact made of very cheap material, because it's a leaf made of paper. It's this big, and it's actually meant to be worn only one day. So the value is maybe only €2, but because it's so fragile, you really have to decide when you are going to wear this thing, because after one day it will be frumbly or broken or I don't know what. And this is part of my studio where it all happens. And now, 2 years later, the project is in full development. And it seems to be quite successful, because now I have 20 stockists in the Benelux and in the UK and in the United States. And somehow it seems what I'm doing, that it's turning it into be some kind of trendy thing, which I don't really like, because I'm not into trends at all. But it's good to notice that the way I look at fashion, that I want fashion to be more sustainable maybe, or more classic, or more show it with some more awareness, seems to be picked up by other brands. And you can really, if you pay attention, more brands have collections that stay in or have garments that stay in the collection longer. And it's really interesting to see, because I do believe that the way fashion is going on at the moment, it's really weird. If you look at the video that was showed of H&M with the Victor and Rolf collection, I think it's really weird that people just run in the store and want everything, and only because of the name. And I think that a lot of consumers, they don't even really realize why they buy something, why they really want to have a garment. Because if you go out on the streets, you really get confronted with fashion the whole time, and there's all these billboards screaming, buy me, buy me, buy me. And then you go to the store and you buy it and you come home and then you think, why did I buy this? So to finish my story, I still have time left. I just hope that everybody here in the audience, next time you go shopping, that you will be more aware of what you would like to put in your wardrobe. Because I think your wardrobe is really a reflection of your personality. And it's also a matter of selecting quality and adapting to your own style. And, don't run to H&M too fast because it's cheap. But just try to buy stuff that you really like, or buy my stuff, it's also possible. And I would like to thank you for listening to my story.
You said, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For your story. Wonderful collection. Can you hear me? Yeah. So you said that you started Hello Fashion because you wanted to change your life, actually. So what happened? Is it better now?
Well, yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
No, it is better, because I strongly believe in the way I'm working now, and it's also really good to notice that it's actually working, that my clients who buy my collections for their shops really like the fact that they can buy this one dress, they sold really well, they can buy it again the next season.
Exactly, because that I was wondering, the shops, how do they react? How do they, because they just pick up some of the old things and some of the new stuff?
Yeah, they do, but you know, I also try to develop the garments that one season a dress could be made in silk and the next season it could be a different color or a different material, but the shape stays exactly the same. So you can show a variety on one garment. And I think, you know, well, what I said before, that it's also the need of the customer. When you buy a good pair of jeans, you want to buy it again if it's broken or something, you know, because you do wear out your clothes when you wear them a lot. But I get very good response from my clients, so that's good.
Does it also mean you never have to organize any catwalk shows?
Well, I think it's a choice to organize a catwalk show.
But when you're in the cyclists, in the fashion industry, you almost, you have your new collection in one go, and it's,
But I think
easier
giving a catwalk show is, you know, it's a way of showing your work or showing your collection, but there's many other ways of doing that. And I think you know, it was in the beginning, I also did fashion shows because I thought that's the way to do it. And then afterwards I realized, but, you know, who says that that's the way to do it?
Probably also the way they teach you in the art school, and just to follow this normal cyclist.
Probably.
Is this changing, you think? Because, you know, people like you?
I hope so. Well, I think it is changing because, you know, you see a lot of designers showing their work in a different way and stepping away from catwalk shows because, what is a catwalk show? People walking around.
It's all about selling, actually, and that's the whole thing. You say, why you want to buy? I mean, that's the whole psychological thing behind the fashion industry. People want to have new collection because they have an excuse to buy. I think a lot of...
That's true, that's true. Of course, I also want to sell my garments and my designs because it's the way I make a living. But I think it's very important to be aware what is actually going on in fashion because it's really an industry. It's so big and it's somehow it's fooling us.
But for me, you're like the little mice fighting against this big monster, the fashion industry. Whether you know.
Well, I don't feel like I'm fighting. I'm just feeling that I found a good way of working for myself.
But were there any reactions from the commercial side or from the industry on this new way of producing?
I think in the beginning there were quite a few people who thought, "Oh, she's crazy," and then like a year later they said, "Well, I didn't really believe your plan, but now I see it's working." Because I think for me it's very logical. If you open your wardrobe, you might have garments you already have 10 or 15 years for some reason, because you like them. It's not that you buy your wardrobe and then half a year later you throw it away and you buy a new wardrobe. So for me it just doesn't seem very logical that maybe the fashion wants to change, but do we as people want to change? That's maybe something everybody can wonder of himself.
So the conference is called What Design Can Do. So is this one thing you as a fashion designer can do?
Yeah, I think I can, because I think fashion is quite stuck in a way at the moment, because there's all these unwritten rules, and this is the way you have to do it, this is the way you have to act, and then you have to give your catwalk show and get publications, blah, blah, blah.
Feels very deliberating as well.
Yeah, it does. No, but I also think there's a value in the designs I make. You know, if I design a really good jacket, why can't it stay on the market? Of course, it's interesting to test out what the survival of such a design can be. You know, maybe a jacket I design now, in 5 years, I look at it and I think, But it's also interesting to figure out, why do I think that?
Yeah.
Because where does this influence come from? Does it come from outside? Does it come from inside of me? I don't know.
So we will find out in 5 years' time, 10 years' time. Thank you very much for your presentation. Monique van Heist.
We will have a 1-hour lunch break.
Yes.
1 hour. Same, pretty much same lunch as yesterday. But after the break, there's 2 breakout sessions. After the lunch, there's 2 breakout sessions. 2 interesting ones. One, together with Kroslab, Willem de Koning.